Hello and welcome to the Building Chinese Irish podcast. I'm your host, Grace, sweating away here on a hot summer's day in Berlin. Today I want to talk about having a vision and sharing a dream. Basically, a couple of weeks ago, when I first cemented in my head the idea of what my first tech company is really going to be, what the product will be, how I'm going to build it and everything, excited about the fact that this was something that could help people, help myself with my own language learning problem, help other people struggling to learn languages, and I could actually build this and I could actually make money from that, and that was really exciting to me. So thinking about this big workload that I have, this big opportunity that I have, this amazing journey that I'm setting sail on, I thought maybe this is something that my brother, one of my older brothers, would be interested in helping me with, or like joining up, teaming up with me on. So I have two older brothers, and they're the ones that actually got me into tech. Like when we were little kids, they're like playing computer games, and then I would play too. And my oldest brother convinced my parents to buy a PC when I was like 5. Without their interest in technology, I would probably be a very, very different person today. Because I remember like even as a kid, we had like an Atari ST, and the first words that I learned to spell were like player, one, start, continue, game over. And I remember when, as a child, when I had my spelling book, seeing those words on the list of words that I had to learn how to spell, I was like, yes, I already know these words. Easy week this week. So, they've been like, my brothers have been a huge influence on me in my life, obviously. And so, we're all interested in tech. We all know how to program. And they both have time at the moment, like some free time. So I called one of my brothers up who's currently living in Asia, just kind of on a sabbatical, having some free time to chill out in between jobs. And I pitched the idea to him. I'm going to build this language learning podcast kind of software thing. And I want to launch it by December. I am also making YouTube videos to document the building process and also market the thing. And I think it's going to help people. I think it's actually solving problems, and I think it can generate money, revenue. So, I know he wants to be a digital nomad at some stage in his life. Maybe this could help him get there. I pitched the idea. He wasn't really interested. Essentially, he said he had a lot of other ideas of his own. He is more interested in vibe coding rather than stitching together different open source software. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you have your own thing going on. I have my thing going on. You don't want to team up, that's fine. But the one cool thing that he did say to me was when I explained what my product actually does, what the service does, he didn't want to help me build it, but he asked me, as soon as I get my prototype finished, can I send him my prototype so maybe he could use it too? Because he studied Korean. He's like, maybe when you finish your prototype, you can send it to me and then I can improve my Korean again. So I was like, okay. He was never going to actually team up with me and help me on my journey. But in a way, he's kind of validated my thinking in that there is a real pain point here that people don't know how to solve in terms of language learning. And he wants to go of my product to see if that helps him solve it. This is as big of a win that I could have gotten from this conversation. And yeah, it was always like kind of a far-fetched idea that we could work together. So then like a week later, I'm having a phone call with my oldest brother telling him, yeah, I was talking to Chris and blah, blah, blah. And like, he didn't want to help me. And that's totally fine. And then my oldest brother was like, I wouldn't mind helping you. Like, I have some time. Like, I can help you if you want. Just send me the architecture document. I was just like, well, I explained it to you really basically already. I don't see why you need like a formal tech document. I've just told you like, dunk, 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 just start there. And he was like, just make one for me and then send it to me in a few days. Then I kind of realized, oh, he wants a formal tech document because he just wants to copy and paste it into Claude and then have it vibe coded. And I realized, there's no value in that. Like if he was going to code something himself, it would be good for his resume, so then he can get a tech job because he wants to move into tech, but he hasn't gotten his first tech job yet. I thought this would be a good project for him for his resume. But if he's just going to vibe code it, it's not a good project for his resume because nobody's going to hire you to vibe code. So I kind of realized, okay, it's not a good fit because he doesn't want to do it the way that I want it built. He wants to build it his way. But I do appreciate that he offered to help. So after talking to both of my brothers, I did feel a little bit disappointed in that, I wanted us to kind of have something to work together on. And I thought, okay, this project would be good for them in terms of their career, in terms of their goals, for both of them, if they just wanted to chip in a little bit. And then, we're all living in different countries at the moment, so it might have been nice to have some kind of like central touch point to kind of be more present in each other's lives, I guess. But I realized that was just like wishful, magical thinking, and probably a little bit of insecurity on my part of like not just like going my own path completely alone. Like I wanted my brothers there with me, I guess, for emotional support or something. And just to share the journey, I thought would have been cool. But, fundamentally, we're like not matching in our values. I value skill acquisition and like programming things and doing things the slow way, the correct way, trying to minimize technical debt. I don't know. My brothers, they don't seem to see an issue with like vibe coded things in terms of technical debt. I guess they just don't have the experience of having worked under systems that are just like janky and forever janky. Even though they're my family and they're my brothers, it's a culture mismatch, it's a values mismatch. It took me a few days to realize it was probably for the best that Chris said no. And then my brother kind of like firmly held his boundary. Like, I will only do this if it's vibe coded. Because if they just said, yeah, we'll do it your way, but they didn't really want to or they didn't really believe in it, eventually the culture mismatch, the values mismatch would come out later. And then later it would be like, oh my God, they put in so many hours into helping me and I'm not using anything that they have made, or like wasted so much time having meetings, communication, and then nothing productive having come out from it. And that would have led to a lot more frustration. Do you know what's so funny? It's like my parents had a restaurant. We grew up in the restaurant working. Like, we all know very clearly family business doesn't work. I would say 90% of the time it doesn't work. And yet the instinct, maybe it's just like something like trying to recreate my own trauma. But it's just like, let's make a new family business. The software this time will be different. But maybe it's, sometimes like you just kind of get stuck with like these remnants of ideas. But if you really like play them out in your head, you realize actually it's not a good thing to want. It's not a good thing to wish for. I also felt like part of it was me kind of like hoping or wishing that like this external help was going to come into my project and help me with my project to, I don't know, handle some of my own insecurity. Maybe I don't know how to do this or that. And then what if I get stuck? Well, then if there's another person, maybe they can help me, or it's like this workload is not like too big for me. We can handle the December deadline. Something like this. Or maybe a part of me is just like insecure. Like I just wanted to go faster through the project. I think I'm just being impatient in terms of wanting to make progress in my project because, it lives in my head and it's like beautiful there, but I want it to be real. I want other people to see what I see in my head and experience what I see in my head. So, if I could get some external help to make that happen quicker, of course that sounds good. But probably in reality, it wouldn't be any quicker because I'd be onboarding them, telling them what to do, blah, 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 and then mismatch, blah, blah, blah. So, it's like the classic, the long way is the fastest way because all the shortcuts are dead ends, and then you just end up coming back. Having those phone calls, I think, closed a few doors in terms of my mind, in terms of wishing for outside help to come and save me or help me and speed me up or whatever. And having those doors closed kind of helps me focus. It's just like, no, actually, you working by yourself is the fastest way, is the best way, because I'll pick up all the skills and then I'll get faster. Even if this language learning software thing doesn't work out, I'll have learned all the lessons for the next thing that I want to build and the next thing that I want to build. So, if I'm like delegating things out and then paying people money to help me, and it doesn't work out, it's just like, okay, I'm out a bunch of money and I also didn't really learn that much because other people got the learning. I learned more about delegating and money than I did about the important lessons of building. Yeah, I need to do the lessons myself. I need to do it myself. Realizing there's no outside help just going to come and help me with my project or with my YouTube channel, at least for the foreseeable future. Then I can just focus on doing the work and trying to make doing the work pleasant. I think it's like Sun Tzu or something like this, or Confucius, whatever. Some philosopher person said, like, to a beginner, like when they're doing something, they see many possibilities, many options. But to a master, they only see one or two or three, I don't know. As a beginner, there's all these things that you could try, and then you go and try one by one, and it's like, okay, that's a bad idea because of this, and that's a bad idea because of that, and da-da-da-da-da. So then the focus narrows, the concentration focuses. So it's like all of this like energy that's like, oh, maybe I should ask him this, or maybe that, or maybe I could do it this way, and wouldn't it be nice? Da-da-da. All of these thoughts, they just stop. And then when all of these thoughts stop, it's more quiet time for the brain, less questioning, just more doing. Things becoming simpler and more straightforward. It sounds almost counterintuitive in terms of like how people kind of want to see themselves in the world these days. It's just like more options is better. And I guess now that I'm getting older and I've gone out into the world and experienced all kinds of things, a lot of good and bad stuff, I'm just like, I don't want so much choice in my life anymore, actually. I just want good. It doesn't have to be the best. A lot of good and fewer choices, because so many choices is exhausting. What's the moral of the story? Not being afraid to do things by myself. It sounds so childish to say that, but yeah, that's what I'm going through. Well, I've never started a company before, so I'm scared. It is scary. But I'm sure once it's set up and then things are running, I'll be like, oh my God, why was I so scared for? But yeah, it's scary. But I'm gonna do it. I can do it. I believe in myself. It's okay if I'm scared along the way and sometimes asking for help when I actually don't need it. Question for the audience. What is the last thing that you thought you needed help with, so you asked for help from other people, but in the end, you could totally handle it all by yourself? I'm wondering, there is this myth of like, oh, men don't like to ask for directions, men don't like to ask for help and stuff. But it's like, is that really true? So sometimes I feel like it's nice to ask people for some help just on something like super easy, so you can like thank them and tell them like they're great, because sometimes they just want to feel useful. But in terms of like actually asking for help on serious things, I think I'm really bad. And it's something I'm working on, actually. But in this case, I think with my brothers, it was more of an anxiety thing than actually needing the help. Okay, that's it for this week's video. Thank you for listening or watching. Hope you have a fantastic day, and goodbye.